Everybody, welcome to the Daily Throwback Podcast. I am your host, MC producer, and hip hop advocate, Jess Rhymes. You doing good? Because I'm doing fine. In today's episode, I want to talk about why the new rap girls are not selling like that. And the truth might offend some, but I can guarantee you that it's needed to be said, and you won't hear this answer anywhere else online. So before we dive into this topic, just a little backstory. Daily Throwback Classics was a blog that I created on Facebook in early 2017, where I uploaded clips from my VHS collection of hip-hop history and pop culture from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. Best throwback pages on Facebook at the time, for 80 million views and 250,000 followers, until Facebook decided to delete my page, which I didn't only use to upload hip-hop history and pop culture, but I use it to help independent artists grow and get their numbers bigger when it came to their videos or whatever they were promoting. So with that experience, I do know a lot about pop culture and hip-hop history, from recording footage as a child of hip-hop history and partaking in hip-hop music myself. So my perspective is coming from an artist and a fan of the culture and or hip-hop. With that being said, Daily Throwback Classics was way more popular on Facebook compared to all other social media platforms. I'm not currently on Facebook, but I am trying to get the YouTube popping and just as big as the Facebook page was. So I was uploading nostalgia clips of hip-hop history and things of that nature, lost gems, things that's not on YouTube, but that type of stuff gets demonetized. So because I don't want to work for free like anyone else, I got to switch up my content. So welcome to the Daily Throwback Podcast, where I'm going to be talking about rap and rap commentary with a purpose. So with that being said, real hip-hop content really doesn't get celebrated as it once did. As of now in 2024, female rap has really taken over by storm, and including the blogs, who are a big factor when it comes to hip-hop today. So before we really talk about why, in my opinion, which is kind of facts though, why female rappers are not selling in 2024, to know what's going on, to know where you're going, you got to know where you've been, right? So when we think about female rap, and you go back to the past, because this is what this channel is really talking about. When we talk about the new stuff, we got to take from the past to make the new stuff make sense, right? So that's what we are doing here. So from the analytics that I've seen on this YouTube, where I do post a lot of hip-hop history and real hip-hop clips from, the 90s that are like hidden gems that a lot of people don't see. When I was doing that consistently before I was demonetized for uploading content that isn't mine, I looked at my analytics, and literally 99% of the people who view these clips are men. And they are men in my age range, my demographic, right? So on YouTube, I think that age range is the 35 to like 44 age range. And they're mostly men, right? So these are the people who see these hip hop clips. They are so excited. They're saying how happy they are to see this, how many great memories it makes them think about, et cetera, et cetera. Now, hold on. It's going to tie into the topic of the video. Give me a minute. So with that being said, you got to think about when hip hop was in its prime. when artists was coming out and they were selling millions in the first week, right? Artists are not really doing that today. But hold that thought, okay? When people used to buy hip hop albums and they were selling, really selling at one point in time. You got to think about the foundation of hip hop. Hip hop, the real foundation of hip hop, it was a male dominated club, okay? Um that's just the truth. You can't change that even to this day. It was a lot of heterosexual males, whether they was DL or not, that's another topic. Okay? They was the ones who was the real true hip hop fans. Back in the 90s, the early 2000s, before this era kind of died when people was still buying hip hop records at an all-time high. Okay? Back then, we had women who liked hip hop, but we still had R&B. We still had other genres where women really supported. Women was mostly doing the R&B, we had the boy bands, we had all these other things that women was spending their money on majority. But when it came to hip hop, it was majority men buying. And with that being said, the female rappers who really sold, who really did big numbers in the first week back in those times, just to name a few, like Lil' Kim, Foxy Brown, Eve, Missy, let's see, whoever you name who's relevant to selling records in those times, they had a stamp of approval from a male hip hop artist. At that time, it was very hard for women to make it into this all boys club without getting a stamp of approval from a man. Little Kim had Biggie, Foxy had Jay-Z, Nas, Eve had DMX, Missy had Timberland, etc., right? Debret had JD. She was the first female rapper to even go platinum as a solo artist. So with that being said, to get a stamp of approval from a male artist, you really had to be top tier, okay? You just couldn't come in, twerk a little bit, and talk about your WAP to get this approval. You have to really have skills. You have to really have skills. So if a popular male rapper give you a cosign as a female rapper, a lot of the times, 9 times out of 10, that female rapper is going to be getting sales from that male rapper's fans as well. Kind of like, oh, I fucks with him heavy, so I'ma fucks with her. She real nice because she under him. So fast forward in 2024 when we have all these new female rappers that's out, who's putting out projects, who's working their ass off, who's doing shows, who's blowing up online, etc., etc. When it comes to the sales, they're just not there. A lot of them don't have that male cosign. And the ones that kind of do a little bit better when it comes to sales. And also when you think about hip hop outlets, everything is about the blogs. It's about, people's social media. What are people with big followings saying about these girls and these rappers? The female rappers dominate online and they dominate the blogs. And a lot of the hip hop outlets now are dominated by women and or gay men. And please, LGBTQ community, don't get offended by anything I'm saying in this video because it's just straight facts. Don't shoot the messenger, right? Women and gay men were always at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to original foundational hip hop. Let's just be for real. A lot of the early hip hop was big in misogyny, okay? It was a lot of it was sexist, okay? And a lot of it was homophobe, a lot of it, right? So you fast forward today when all the blogs that's talking about hip hop are either gay men and or women. A lot of these women didn't really grow up listening to real hip hop. Let's just keep it 1,000. When I watch some of these blogs, these female bloggers, you could just tell they don't really know hip hop like that. Okay, they're just concerned about the female rappers because we don't really got a lot of R&B like we did back in the day. A lot of R&B groups that kind of dying off, you know what I'm saying? So energy is never destroyed. It always transfers. So these female rappers is the closest thing to R&B that a lot of these women is going to get these days. And the gay men, they're never talking about male rappers. They're talking about the female rappers because the male rappers, they really wasn't allowing the gay boys in. Let's just keep it real. They wasn't. So now you see things like the BET Awards. It's all women. It's dominated by women. It's dominated by women. The hip hop blogs are dominated by gay men. All right. And what ties into the topic is this is a gift and a curse to these new female rappers. A lot of these new female rappers don't realize that getting a stamp of approval by women who never got a stamp of approval from men in the hip hop game, and then getting a stamp of approval from, gay men who run these podcasts and blogs is not going to translate to sales. I'm going to tell you why a little later. And this is why a lot of the older male podcasts who fit into that demographic that I was talking about, kind of like the Joe Budden podcast, when he has an opinion about certain hip hop, how it gets women and or gay men very upset with his opinion because he comes from that era where rap was more about being sexist and misogynistic and things of that nature. He says a lot of things that annoy this group that dominate the blogs and social media, like I said. But at the same time, when he says something, that's why it stands and it holds more weight than when others say something about hip hop, because he comes from that demographic. And a lot of these new female rappers, they are not tapping into this lost demographic of people, mainly men, who love hip hop, who was not about to be buying their shit. They might watch them twerk, okay? They might find them sexy, but they are not going to be buying their music. And the main reason why they're not is because a lot of them don't have that male cosign. And the ones that do get more support from this lost demographic, kind of like Sexy Red and Glorilla, the girls that the guys like, they're doing better than the girls who the guys don't like. They might think they're pretty. They might want to smash, but that's about it, right? And that's another reason why Sexy Red dominates these new girls, even if she's not a better rapper. It's because she's tapping into that lost demographic. She has more cosigns from dudes who just like her, who messes with her. And that's how you win as a female rapper. It's kind of hard to dominate in this thing called hip hop that has been dominated by men, been a boys club, a male club for so many dang years. It's kind of hard to think you're going to get somewhere far trying to count that demographic out. I don't care how many blogs it is. I don't care how many female rappers or women they put on the BT and things of that nature. The men don't like you like that. And Nicki Minaj is kind of like, she's like the last of the generation who had to get that big male stamp of approval. Now, Megan kind of has it, being affiliated with Roc Nation, but it's not the same compared to getting that solidified when Jay-Z was active and up and going and putting out music consistently. Nicki Minaj had that Wayne cosign, right? But she's been maintaining her position for almost 2 decades now. So she has become that new female rapper stamp of approval, because a lot of these girls was little kids when Nicki Minaj was at her prime, when she was really doing it. compared to when Nicki Minaj was a child, when Little Kim and Foxy Brown was still doing it, right? She paid her dues to get that, and it's kind of hard for anyone to take that away. That's why she gets a lot of backlash and she gets a lot of hate and jealousy from not only men, but the women. Because a lot of these male rappers, they don't have cosigns anymore either. They in the same boat or even worse than these female rappers. That's why everyone is talking about these female rappers now. For example, now Lotto just came out with her album Sugar Honey Iced Tea. I think it sold 29K the first week. Now, Lotto, I think she thought she was doing the best thing for her career. You know, she started on the rap game with Jermaine Dupri. I had to go back and watch that show because I wasn't watching it, at the time when it was coming out. But if Lotto would have hooked up with JD, got that JD approval for a little bit, and then rebranded as Lotto by herself, then she would be getting more sales right now, in my opinion. But she didn't want to sign with JD. She wanted to go the independent route. Now, I don't think she's independent, but she went another route, okay? It's just better for a female rapper to get that stamp of approval from a male who has been putting in work in the game, who has sold records, who is established and known in the hip hop community. Come out with them first before you branch off doing your own thing, because you can carry that demographic with you when you move forward. And the main reason why these girls, their social media likes and follows don't equate or translate to sales, because a lot of these girls, they're popping on social media. A lot of these girls are dang near influencers, you know what I'm saying? Because you do have the social media dominating hip hop like it never has before when you talk about the history of hip hop and how it all started. We didn't used to have social media like we do today. So a lot of these girls benefit from social media. They're known a lot of the time because of social media. Something went viral, yada, yada. But a lot of the times these is not translating into sales. It's because a lot of the people who are on social media who are following these girls are not real hip hop fans. A lot of these people who are following these girls, they wasn't even born when hip hop was at its prime, for one, and or for two. They didn't really grow up listening to real hip hop like that. What they did grow up on was Twitter, loving hip hop, and reality TV. So, with that being said, if you are having things going on your social media where it's like you all in the blogs all the time for your personal shit, that's what they're like. If your music sound like it could be the soundtrack to Baddies, that's what they're supporting and liking. But they're still not buying because they don't like hip hop like that. I'm telling you. A lot of these people, they like rap culture, but not hip hop. It is two different things, which that's another video. And that's why Nicki Minaj is still outselling all these girls' numbers combined, because she has a choke hold on this demographic, this lost demographic that these girls they just can't get access to like that, okay? Like I said, these men, you might look good to them. They don't want to hear about your WAP unless, they getting some of it. And they're not going to buy your album unless it comes with a pinch of WAP. WAP. That's what I meant. A lot of these women who be watching these female rappers twerk and be like, yes, girl, yes. They not real rap fans. They can't tell you who's who in rap. They don't have no sense of hip-hop history or nothing. And it might seem like it's irrelevant and it don't matter, but it does play a big part in the grand scheme of things when you need to tap into this lost demographic of straight men from ages 35 to 44. The straight men who was children when Tupac and Biggie died. I'm telling you, it's something about that generation. Because I feel like that's the last generation to really know what the hell real hip hop is. All right? And Nicki Minaj is a part of that age range. And that's why she will always run circles around these young girls, because it's like they really don't know what they're doing or what they're getting themselves into. They having fun, they twerking, they seeing the world. All right. A lot of them can rap though, but the men is not buying your stuff. The women, they not real hip hop fans. So I feel like it's the same damn 30,000 people that's buying all these girls' music. They all sell around 25 to 30K first week in sales. Also, real hip hop fans never really cared about Billboard and first week numbers. Okay, that's why someone like Nas, who's an OG in the game, he can come out, drop a surprise album, and sell more than these new girls who's supposed to be the most popular, the most mainstream girls. You got rappers like Nas that's 50 who's selling just as much as these new mainstream people. It's because he has that demographic. Now, he might not have the social media demographic like these new girls, but the social media people, they is not buying like that. And a lot of these girls, they have more social media followers than a lot of these older rappers, but at the same time, they was able to establish a connection with true fans before social media. Whereas a lot of these new artists, they might get more views, they might have more followers on social media more than an older artist, someone around Nicki's age and up. But at the same time, these people did the groundwork before social media and solidified their spot and solidified their fan base, so they can sell with or without social media. But I'm just saying, not only the men are getting tired of hearing what these new female rappers is talking about, the women are starting to get tired of what they talking about too. Because like I said, you entice them, a lot of these women who grew up on R&B, you know what I'm saying, who rather listen to R&B, they starting to get tired and listen about y'all cooch, okay? They don't want to hear that. If a female rapper came out and made more songs that was like R&B, that was less raunchy, that was like more about love and just, they will tap into that lost demographic. There's so many lost demographics when it comes to music because of social media and because of the outlets that we used to have that we don't have today, like MTV, BET, VH1 before it was all reality TV, okay? Like, it's lost demographics. It's people that is thirsty for music, and they're not getting it because a lot of these newer rapper girls don't know nothing about nothing. They only know about stuff if it's trending or if it's popular. Like I remember, Krishan Rock, she's a female rapper and she didn't know who Foxy Brown was. And that's just an example, I doubt every female rapper don't know who Foxy Brown was, but it's just a lot about hip hop that they don't know. So if you want to stand out as a new female rapper, it's best to know your dang history. You better do some studying and you better find a way to cater to this lost demographic. You got the men, the straight male, okay, who played a big part of what hip hop was, the foundation of hip hop. And then you have the women in that same demographic, that same age bracket who grew up listening to dang 90s R&B and boy bands and things of that nature. So to sum up this video, a lot of the female rappers are not selling because one, they don't have that straight male cosign, and two, their likes and their followers on social media is not translating to sales because a lot of the people who follow them are not real hip hop fans. And the people who talk about female rappers the most in the blogs and on social media, which is mainly women and gay men, don't have the respect from the straight male hip hop demographic. So the cosigns that the female rappers do get also does not and cannot translate into sales, because hip hop is known to be a sexist and misogynistic genre, unfortunately. And the people who you really need to buy your records, who will give you more sales, is not listening to these new podcasters, bloggers, etc. online. They're just not. They're not online watching things about female rap like that. If you look in the comments when it comes to female rap, when it comes to a blogger talking about female rappers or a podcast, it's mainly women and or gay men that is commenting, but that is not the demographic that these girls need to get more sales. Like I said, when people was actually really buying hip hop music, they not buying anything until their favorite rapper comes out of the blue with some new music. Either they gotta cater to the lost R&B demographic, but they can't be twerking and being too ratchet and raunchy for them, or they gotta cater to the straight male demographic who don't want to hear about your WAP. They might want to see you twerking though, but they damn sure ain't gonna buy your shit. And with that being said, I am Jess Rhymes. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time. Just rhymes, I'm designed by the divine. It's my time, unsigned, my soul's mine. Real takeover, coming through, move over. Ask me why I do this for the culture. Now it's time to wake y'all up like soldiers. Don't compare me to these rappers when I'm a composer. All you do is run your mouth like a blogger. I seen it all coming like a bullet, so I dodged ya. You ain't messing with me, just a friendly reminder. Lord, forgive me when I kill it, just a friendly reminder.